Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, this is another cook with Miya video. It was requested that I make mac and cheese. I make mac and cheese all the time, so I wasn't surprised when this request came. But yeah, so right now I'm just gonna go ahead and get right into it. As you can see, these are the seasonings I use. This is all you'll need: paprika, onion powder, garlic powder. I like to add a little crushed red pepper just to add a little kick, some black pepper, and some salt, and that'll be all. So what you want to do first is make sure that you get a big pot of water and get your water boiling. I used this really big pot because I was making about 2 pounds of macaroni and I didn't want, it overflowing. I didn't want the pot, not big enough. So I just went ahead and got one of my mom's bigger pots. And you want to make sure that your water is boiling before you add the noodles. And then when you do add them, just start stirring them consistently so they don't stick to the pot. It's not like spaghetti where it will, lump up, but you do just want to make sure that nothing's sticking together. Okay, so now that our noodles are done, you want to make sure they're al dente, just because they're going to go in the oven again and they're going to cook again, and you don't want overcooked noodles. So we're going to go ahead and drain them in the sink. All you need for that is colander. I don't know how else. I guess you could just pour it out, but make life easier on yourself and get a colander. It's not that bad. So now we're going to go ahead and create our cheese sauce mix. To start, I use heavy whipping cream. Since I was making a large amount of macaroni and cheese, I did get 2 carts of heavy whipping cream. That should make about enough sauce because you are adding other ingredients. So we go ahead and start with that. I'm going to pour it into the pot. And then also I'm going to add just a little bit of vitamin D. You don't need to add it, but I was just, being extra. So what you're going to do is add your cheese. You're just going to add half of the amount of cheese that you want in your cheese sauce to start off, so you can mix it. And when you mix it, you want to make sure that the heat is on low. Otherwise, your cream and your cheese will burn, and we don't want that. No one wants to be wasting stuff like that. So we're just going to go ahead and add the first portion of our cheese. And you want to do this in 2 sections just because you want to make sure that the cheese is thoroughly melted into the milk. It'll be easier. It won't be as big as a mess, and it won't take as long. So you just want to make sure, just stir consistently, because the cheese is going to go straight to the bottom, and we all know that cheese burns very quickly. So you just want to make sure that you're stirring consistently. You can see that the cheese is starting to melt. It's like starting to goo up. It's still a bit thin, but we are going to add more cheese into it, so it is going to thicken up. So you can see that it has a nice gooey texture to it. Now it's still a little bit thin, but it still has that gooey to it from the first set of cheese. And now we're going to go ahead and add in the rest of our cheese that we want to use. I didn't use a full bag because I am adding some to the top of the macaroni and cheese at the end. So, use as much as you would like, but I know that I was saving some for the top of the mac and cheese. So now that our cheese is fully melted, we're going to go ahead and start adding our seasonings. This is the part that you need to watch because you don't want to over season it, but you don't want to under season it as well. I don't use seasoning measurements because I've never been taught like that. I just, when you know, and that's how you know that there's enough seasoning in it. Now I am light with salt because I would rather it be under salted than over salted. So I don't put that much salt in it. But you're just going to see me go ahead, sprinkle my salt in. And basically you just sprinkle until the ancestors whisper in your ear and tell you to stop. That's how you know. I don't think I've ever cooked with measured seasonings. I am heavy-handed with the seasonings though, because I would rather have seasoned food than unseasoned food, and we all know how that goes. But I am light with the salt. Everything else I was heavy-handed with, besides the salt. I do not put a lot of salt in any of my food. So I added black pepper after the salt. Now I'm adding onion powder, and then I'm gonna add the paprika and the garlic powder. I love garlic, whether it's fresh garlic or garlic powder. I get that from my mom. There is always garlic in anything that I'm cooking. I prefer fresh garlic, but fresh garlic does not belong in mac and cheese, so garlic powder it was. Told y'all I'm heavy-handed. Y'all see all that paprika, but you know. So after I put all my seasonings in, you're going to go ahead and mix it. Make sure there's no bubbles. Make sure all the seasoning is properly mixed in. And then you're going to let it sit for a second while we go get our noodles into our casserole dish. Psych, I did add some crushed red pepper. Like I said, I enjoy my mac and cheese with just a little kick to it. So I add crushed red pepper every now and again. And you usually can't even taste it because there's so much other seasoning, and I only add like maybe a teaspoon of it, but I like mine with a little kick to it. So now we're gonna get our noodles into our casserole dish. Usually I'd make it in like a foil pan because I'm making it for a large amount, but this was just for the fam. So I just went ahead and used one of my mom's glass casserole dishes. What I did was separate some of the noodles and then add some of the sauce so I can mix it thoroughly. You want to get all of the noodles coated evenly, and then I just continue the process with the other half of the noodles and the other half of the cheese sauce. And I did it this way because I didn't want to like overdo it and then have a bunch of noodles and a bunch of cheese, and then now it's a mess and the dish is dirty and the counter is dirty and all this other stuff. So you can do it however you would like to do it, but this is just how I did it, just so it wouldn't be a whole big goopy mess. And also look at the texture of the sauce. It's not too light and it's not too thick either. It's just the right amount. You want to make sure it's not too thick, because then you're going to end up with like a Tostitos cheese dip, and that's that's not the goal for your mac and cheese. But like I was saying, you want to make sure that the noodles are evenly coated. So you're just going to make sure it's mixed properly. That's the key with everything. You just want to make sure it's mixed and done right. And I'm just going to add the rest of the sauce. And when you are adding the sauce, as you'll see me do this with the sauce and with the cheese, you want to make sure that you're keeping it from like the sides of the dish, because that's how you end up with a burnt dish and burnt sides. You can usually, if you get it just right, you can get a clean sweep of everything from in the pan. But if you do get extra sauce on the sides, there's going to be extra stuff for you to clean up and when you're done with the dish and in the oven. So we don't do that. You just want to make sure that it's always clean on the sides. And I know someone's gonna ask, yes, my hands were clean. Yes, I was washing them. I was cooking food that me and my family were gonna eat, so I was touching the cheese with my hands, But yeah, I mean, you can wear gloves if you would like, but it just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like gloves would be a more dirty option instead of just washing your hands. But anyway, my hands were washed. They were clean. So like you can see, I'm just patting it down and make sure it's patted in and it's nice, sitting real nice and good and tight in there. You see that pan it's mob deep in there. So just making sure that it's coated from end to end with the cheese. And then I'm just going to clean up the sides and make sure that there's nothing on the sides of the pan. So now that I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven. The oven was already preheated to 385. I put mine high because the mac and cheese is already cooked. It just needs to bake to, mold together and to, give the cheese on top that nice brown glaze. So I did go ahead and preheat it to 385. But you do have to watch that because you don't want your mac and cheese to burn. So what I'm going to do now is put it in the oven. And after I put it in the oven, I put it in the oven and for maybe 10 minutes just so it can start cooking on top. And then I take it out and I add some butter to the top of the mac and cheese. Why I add the butter is so the cheese will be nice and bubbly and melty and brown. I'll have that nice little brown glow to it. And then, after that, you're done. It should take from start to end time, it should take no more than like, I want to say 30-45 minutes, because boiling noodles doesn't take that long, and neither does the cheese sauce, so it really shouldn't take you that long. The baking process is probably the most time, and even then that shouldn't take that long because it's already cooked. You're just letting the top cook and letting the sauce coagulate. But as you can see, I'm adding my butter pats to the top of it. Let me know how you guys like this video. Comment in the comment section. Also, I saw somebody was putting eggs in their mac and cheese. Let me know if you know why, because I couldn't understand it. Eggs do not belong in mac and cheese. What's the purpose? What's the reason? What's the meaning? I was beside myself. I was like, sister, what are you doing? But as you can see, I'm adding the butter pats. Sorry, I'm going back and forth, but I'm adding the butter pats from side to side. You want to make sure there's at least 3 each section from end to end, just so everywhere gets that nice brown glow. And then after that, like I said, you just put it back into the oven, and then you'll take it out and it'll be done. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I'm enjoying doing them for you. If you have any requests on what you guys would like me to cook, just drop it in the comment section and let me know any other way. I am willing to do whatever y'all want me to do. But give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Check out all my other videos, my other Cook With Me. I did a Taco Tuesday. And catch up on all my other vlogs. We're all sitting at the house. Y'all ain't doing nothing, get into it. So, I will see y'all in my next one. Y'all are just going to see my final meal. If you want to see how I did my chicken and my green beans from this video as well, comment that, let me know, and I'll do that as well. But other than that, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you do decide to make this meal, send me a pic. Let me know how they come out. I'll see y'all in my next one.